Yeah, sent out the tweet. Tweet sent. Welcome in Saturday morning. The boys are up early on the West Coast for a little wild card doubleheader, letting everyone come in. We got the plays. Every bet you want to know, every bet you need to know. It is 11:23 Eastern Time, and we're coming to you live. West Coast, early morning, Saturday morning. We're here for the people because we got a barn burner in Houston, and we got the frozen tundra out in Kansas City. We're looking forward to today. The playoffs is here. The wild card is here. 2 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday. Some Monday night foosball down in Tampa Bay. We're going to break it all down on this Saturday morning special of SGG Live Drive. Welcome in to Wild Card. We're going to break down Browns Texans. For every bet you want to know, every bet you need to know. Dolphins Chiefs. A game pick. Let's talk touchdown scores. Let's drop some of your favorite anytime touchdown scores here into the chat. Drop some of your favorite plays into the chat once my computer is not frozen because I have so many goddamn links open. But welcome to the wild card. This is wonderful. I'm going to get the link out a few more times. Let everyone join in. Let everyone join in. We're going to break down Stroud versus Flacco. Our thoughts, our concerns, and everything in between. The hell did I just do? All right. A Saturday morning special. Let me dive into the chat real quick. We're going to talk props. We're going to talk anytime touchdown scores. We're going to talk how we're feeling in our plums for first touchdown scores today in Houston, in Kansas City. Where are we heading? First touchdown scores, anytime touchdown scores, and our game picks. All right. Oh. We can dive in. We can dive in. We start first. We start first in Houston, where obviously the narratives come in. The rookie versus the vet. We have Joe Flacco coming in off of 4 straight wins under center. Obviously, they dropped their last week. That was with Jake Driscoll, whatever the hell his name was. He was in Cincinnati going against Jake Browning and the fellas with Jamar Chase and the rest of the gang. So the Browns, dropped on the Cincinnati. Bengals end their season on a high note. Nothing to play for but morale. That was week 18. We now go back to break down some of the wins that Joe Flacco has had. First start, obviously, because we don't want to get too jumbled up into this hype. Let's peel it back a little bit. Let's see what the gunslinger has done. Game number 1, under center, in LA, in SoFi. The defense gets torched. Puka Nacua goes for a touchdown. Cooper Kupp goes for a touchdown. Matthew Stafford slings. Flacco struggles a little bit. We move on. They then come home against a Jaguars team. Trevor Lawrence puts up decent numbers, some of the best that we've seen in the dog pound this season. Steve, can you come mute this? Some of the best numbers we've seen in the dog pound. But they get that win. We see how the Jaguars following weeks end. Not the greatest of wins. Next week, Bears, once again at home. Chicago, not the best team on the road. Chicago blows a 10-point lead. Also, Darnell Mooney drops the Hail Mary in the end zone. So that's win number 2 for Flacco. 1 win at home against a Jags team who shit down themselves, threw up all over their shirt, Down the stretch of the season, the following week, they blow a game. The Chicago Bears blow a game against the Browns in Cleveland. That's win number 2 for Flacco. Win number 3, his next road game. He goes down to Houston. Of course. Why wouldn't Stroud play? Because we would have had a much better feel, a much better sense of how this ball game would be going today if we already saw Flacco versus Stroud. It's like the NFL gods, the NFL scriptwriters kept Stroud on the sidelines to not give us any hints on how today was going to go. But he goes down to Houston. They get the win over Case Keenum. So that's win number 3. So we have a win at home in a tight ball game against the Jags. We saw how the end of their season goes. We have a win at home, a blown game from the Chicago Bears, a tough team who plays, struggles on the road. They skinny out of that one. Then down in Houston, they go against Case Keenum. That's Flacco win number 3. And Flacco win number 4 to clinch the playoffs is against Trevor Siemian and the boys on a short week at home. So when you really break things down, a weak secondary in the Jags, a blown game by the Chicago Bears in Cleveland, one of the tougher places to play in the National Football League, down in Houston against Case Keenum. They win that game by 2 touchdowns. And then a game versus the Jets. A pathetic team this season. This is nothing to take away from the glory of Flacco. I bought into the glory of Flacco. The only problem I'm having now is that too many people have bought in to the Flacco glory. All over social media, all over Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I have not seen a bracket. I've seen about 15, 20 brackets, 25 brackets, 30 brackets, videos made around this NFL playoffs. At most, 2 to 3 of them I've seen. To be honest, I have not remembered a bracket that I've seen with the Texans winning this game. It is a Flacco love story. Everyone is completely dove in to Flacco, which is understandable. I love Flacco. I love this Browns team. I love this story. I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. But there's something worrisome when the entire nation knows the narrative that if Flacco wins this game, he has the chance to go to Baltimore with a win from the Kansas City Chiefs. If shit was that sweet, Vegas wouldn't be a place. But with that being said, I have no choice. This spread keeps bouncing back and forth from 2.5 to 2, 2.5 to 2 that we've seen in the past 48 hours. I saw it go all the way down to 1.5. 2.5, 2, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 2, all in the past 48 hours. And the last time that I checked, 83% of the money from the BetMGM analytic fellas is on the Browns spread. 83% of the money. Don't get me wrong, the public wins sometimes. The public won last Saturday night with the Texans in Indianapolis. But C.J. Stroud, we've seen the splits for the defense of the Cleveland Browns when they're at home in the dog pound and on the road. Obviously, a rookie quarterback is a tough scenario. Rookie coach, rookie quarterback, the last 5 times in the playoffs, 0-5. Joe Flacco in the wild card round, 5-0 against the spread, 5-0 straight up. Yes, everyone has seen it. I've seen it plenty of times. The graphic of Flacco being 5-0 in the wild card. Zach Fraga, how are we? Gretzka 8, how are we? Shooter 998, how are we? Alex Carr 27, how are we? Wavy Somali, how are we? Apoli 20, how are we? Super Dadan, how are we? Mahomes over passing attempts. Stroud over 21.5 pass completions. Will Anderson 2 sacks. January Joe. Bills money line. Texans money line. Chiefs money line under 49.5. A.J. Brown is out. Really, really tough scenes there in Philly. But the Texans plus 2.5. We leaked the scripts. We cashed the slips. Obviously, the main narrative going into this, the Browns win, the Chiefs win, the Browns go to Baltimore, Flacco's former team. The narrative has become very, very public. As we can see, the splits are heavy on the Browns spread and also the Browns money line. The Texans, like I said, the last 15 rookie quarterbacks are 4-11 straight up in the playoffs. Really tough. The last 5 head coach and quarterbacks on their both rookie debuts of the playoffs, 0-5. The last time it was 2012. Andrew Luck and Chuck Pagano. Very tough scenario for a first-year coach, head coach, and a rookie quarterback. But you got to think, a lot of people are looking at that Browns game, 36-22. There was no C.J. Stroud, but now they're saying now we're getting a shorter spread. Quarterbacks in general making their first playoff start, not just rookies, but in general, are 17-35-1 against the spread. That's 32%. But let's not forget, that's the Tyler Huntleys of the world, the Mark Sanchez's, the backup quarterbacks filling in a void. This isn't a guy who's a gunslinger, a rookie quarterback, a rookie of the year candidate, an MVP conversation at some points of the season kind of guy. A guy who is not afraid to sling the rock, sling the ball. Hopefully they can get the ground, some sort of ground game with Singletary, Dameon Pierce. You know Houston, that stadium is going to be buzzing. Deshaun Watson back in the stadium. The last time they made a playoff appearance in that stadium, Deshaun Watson under center. Now he's back, not playing, but in a different jersey. C.J. Stroud asked on the McAfee show, a lot of people are counting you out. Now a lot of people don't think you're going to win. And he said, we'll see about that. Obviously, then we have quotes from Joe Flacco. Being like, the next 5 weeks will be something that we will remember forever. When talking to his team, when talking to the media. We have C.J. Stroud versus Joe Flacco. We have Tua versus Mahomes. Our first game pick is in. The public narratives are out there. The public is all over it. We have to go the other way. We're going to go upstream. We're going to ride the rookie quarterback versus the vet. 4-11 straight up for the last 15 rookie quarterbacks. 17-35-1 against the spread for quarterbacks making their playoff debut. And we're riding C.J. Stroud plus the 2.5. Houston Texans plus 2.5. Houston buzzing. C.J. Stroud, can you do something for me? Dalton Schultz, a reliable option. Nico Collins, been carrying the offense, but they're going to sub in 2 more. 2 more weapons into that offense today that we didn't get the chance to see in Indianapolis last week in Robert Woods and Noah Brown. Trust me, I can't get the vision out of my head. One of the last times they played an AFC North team, it was Joe Burrow on the road in Cincinnati where Noah Brown looked like Calvin Johnson. The man put up 150 and I think 1 or 2 touchdowns. And C.J. Stroud led a game-winning drive for a Fairbairn deep field goal to win in Cincinnati. It feels like it was yesterday. But that's my memory of the last time Mr. Stroud took on an AFC North team. So give me the Texans plus the 2.5. Our anytime touchdown scores today in Houston. Let's roll Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford, anytime touchdown. I could see him getting 2. But we can definitely see him pounding in 1. They also been using him in the air. Jerome Ford seems like a very solid option. Denzel Ward expected to play in Houston. Cornerback for the Browns. That's big, probably for Mr. Nico Collins. Going against Nico. And on the other side of the ball, we're going to roll with Nico Collins. Roll with the hot hand for an anytime touchdown. When in doubt, he's looking for Nico. But the man I was going back and forth with for an anytime touchdown in today's game was Mr. Dalton Schultz. So keep an eye. If you don't want to roll Nico Collins, watch out for Dalton Schultz. On the road in Cleveland, one of the games we talked about for Joe Flacco going against the Jaguars. And let's not forget, Dalton Schultz was one of the main targets for not Nico Collins. There goes Nico Collins. Little highlights from last week. Dalton Schultz was one of the main targets for CJ Stroud throughout the season. And let's not forget, just a few weeks ago in Cleveland, Evan Ingram, against this Browns defense, had 11 receptions for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. So not only I don't hate a Dalton Schultz anytime touchdown in Houston today, but watch out for that receiving prop, which I believe is sitting around 45.5, 47.5. Be on the lookout for Dalton Schultz over his receiving yards today in Houston. Big game, big target, find the man across the middle, maybe in the end zone, maybe just stacking yards across the middle. We got to see Devin Singletary. Obviously, we know the 1-2 punch for Cleveland with Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford. Let's see the 1-2 punch today with Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary. Flip side of the ball, Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman. Pretty solid options. I can't believe that Elijah Moore is back out there running routes as he did last week after the injury we saw with him on Thursday Night Football. Very brutal concussion. Let's not, forget to address the elephant in the room. Amari Cooper went for 246 or 250 the last time he was in Houston. Obviously, that's a different ball game because the Browns are on the field way more because of the 3-and-outs produced by Case Keenum. But Amari Cooper cooked. So definitely be on the lookout for his receiving yards today. I was going to check. Let's see what Amari Cooper's receiving yards are at. Because, everyone and their mother is looking at him being like, well, he had 250 the last time he was in Houston. Let's take his over. Also, okay, here we go. 75.5. We're looking at Njoku at 56.5. Elijah Moore at 38.5. And on the other side of the football, the man who's been cooking, Nico Collins, 74.5. Robert Woods, no props on the board. And same with Noah Brown. I guess they don't know their complete availability. But I'm pretty sure they are good to go. Dalton Schultz is at 40.5. So I do not hate that Dalton Schultz over 40.5. Do not hate Dalton Schultz over 40.5 receiving yards. Feels like a very solid option. Be on the lookout for Noah Brown. Wouldn't be surprised to see Robert Woods or Noah Brown get in the end zone. Those secondary options, a lot of slot guys. Have been scoring touchdowns. Very good value, too, for both Robert Woods and Noah Brown. I think Robert Woods, I looked last night, plus 600 for an anytime touchdown. That is solid value for a defense on the road who loves to allow touchdowns to slot receivers. That Rams game, like we mentioned earlier, Joe Flacco's first start, going on the road. Stafford threw for 279 and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, 88 yards and a touchdown in SoFi. Puka Nacua, touchdown. Demarcus Robinson, touchdown. Cooper Kupp, touchdown. So the main target got a tutty. And then 2 slot guys with Puka Nacua and Demarcus Robinson found the end zone, found 6. So definitely be on the lookout for those gentlemen today. It would definitely be a different story with Tank Dell in this ball game today. Explosive young man, explosive plays. But with that being said, we have another ball game to go over. So we're rolling with the Texans plus 2.5. We have a Jerome Ford anytime touchdown, and we're going to ride the hot hand of Nico Collins anytime touchdown. Don't mind a Dalton Schultz anytime touchdown. We've seen tight ends be able to, put up some big numbers against this Browns defense. This Browns defense splits if you have a chance. Much different at home than on the road. That doesn't mean Jim Schwartz, defensive coordinator for the Browns, isn't going to be cooking stuff up today to go against C.J. Stroud. Is this the norm, rookie quarterback? Probably not. C.J. Stroud is looked and it appears to be separate from that norm of rookie quarterbacks who are 4-11, the last 15 rookie quarterbacks to play in a playoff game straight up. I feel like this is a rookie quarterback that has seemed a little bit different than anything we've seen in a little bit, especially being thrown into the fire with a new head coach, a Houston Texans team who were, 100, 200-1 preseason to win the Super Bowl. Now here we are, wild card weekend, possibly looking to go to a divisional round. Absolutely unreal stuff from C.J. Stroud. He already won a playoff game last week, basically, on the road. Tough atmosphere. Minshew, Shane Steichen, they were cooking. While Joey Flacco and the boys were on the bench, resting, relaxing. So let's see who's hot and who's not, who comes out strong, who doesn't. Very interesting, like we said. Houston, that stadium's going to be rocking. And it's camp back, a Browns team, which I don't mind. It's a coin flip game. This is one of the games that I have felt the most back and forth with. So back and forth with. Probably the biggest coin flip to me in my mind of the weekend. I feel more confident in every single game of the weekend. There's 6 wild card games on this weekend. This is the one I felt the most. I've gone back and forth on. Have ran both narratives in my head. Can Joe Flacco come out and do this? Can C.J. Stroud come out and do this? Well, what about this defense? Well, what about the veteran? What about the rookie? What about the weapons? What about the run game? On the road, at home. It's been fucking brutal. Losing sleep the last few days, trying to stay hot here. On to the next game. Like we said, the public narrative of Joey Flacco going back to Baltimore, 5-0 in the wild card. We're going to relay some of those nuggets into the next game. If I see the graphic of the Dolphins being 0-10 in games under 40 degrees since 2017, one more time, I'm going to throw up on the desk. The narrative that everyone and their mother is just counting out the Dolphins. The Dolphins are dead. The Dolphins can't play in the cold. And I know, don't get me wrong, we know, everyone knows that they're missing key pieces on the defense. Chubb coming off the edge. Jalen Phillips coming off the edge. Waddle's shaken up. Mostert's shaken up. But at the end of the day, if you don't think these boys are going to come to play just because it's a little cold outside, these guys are literal lunatics playing on the field week in and week out, putting their bodies on the line, going for glory. If you think some 0-degree weather is going to stop these gentlemen, and honestly, the brick hands on the Chiefs wide receivers, Tyreek Hill is coming from Kansas City. He's played in this. Now look, here we are, first graphic, Patrick Mahomes, playoff career in the wild card and divisional round. 6-0, touchdown to interception rate 16-1, and the Chiefs are averaging 36 points per game. 5 touchdown passes. Oh, the graphic went away. There we go. Wild card, divisional round, Mahomes, 6-0. But as we have seen, this has been one of the slowest, weakest teams we've seen out of Kansas City in probably the last 5 years with Mahomes. I still can't get the taste out of my mouth from Christmas Day watching the Raiders run up and down the field, watching mistakes from Mahomes, Mistakes from this team in general. Travis Kelce's been a ghost. He's been non-existent ever since he started with Swift. Super Dadon says, give me the Dolphins and don't look back. 4.5 is a beautiful spread to be had. It feels like the world is on the Chiefs. Every parlay that you know that your buddy is putting in has the Chiefs money line. And if anything, this cold weather with the brick hands of the Chiefs wide receivers suits the Dolphins. Because on the other side of the football, we have Jalen Waddle. We have Tyreek Hill, who's played in these conditions. And if it's going to be a ground and pound kind of game, what better team than to have Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane getting the ball from Tua? It doesn't get much better than that to pound the rock. We saw Zamir White run up and down the field against this Kansas City team in Arrowhead on Christmas. So what stops me from believing that a Tyreek Hill homecoming game, a Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, and remember, Mostert, his legs should be fresh. He hasn't played the last 2 weeks. He's coming in on 20 days of rest. And on the flip side of the ball, I don't mind. I like in a below degree weather game, Pacheco getting 50 rushing, 55 rushing, 60 rushing. But if you look back at the recent game logs over the last 5-6 weeks, not too many running backs putting up big numbers, even without Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, against this Miami defense. The Miami rush game up front, led by Wilkins in the middle, has looked pretty solid. Last week, James Cook, 38 yards rushing. The week before, obviously, they got torched, but even Gus Edwards, only 68 rushing yards. And that was in a game where the Ravens put up 56 points. Where else? Where else is this Dolphins defense where you would think a guy, Derrick Henry, on that primetime game, he scored a couple touchdowns, but he wasn't moving the ball across the field. Just as of late, if you look at the game logs for this Dolphins rush team, they've been pretty tough up front. Will they get the most pressure on Mahomes? No. Because, missing Jalen Phillips, missing Bradley Chubb, this game would probably be much different with a spread than what we think. Also, that leads me to my next little pick. I'm kind of smelling. Hopefully, the wild card weekend is the weekend of going against trends, going against the public. We saw a regular season that the public were winning at astronomical rates. We were in on that. We were with the public a lot. We would fade the public. We would be with the public. We would take spreads. We would fade sharp action. We would roll with sharp action. But I believe up until week 14, week 15, week 16, it was the highest rate of public-sided bets in the NFL, like almost ever. Like the public was hitting at like 58%, 59% through like 12 weeks of football. Something crazy. I don't completely remember. Alec Carr said, loving Waddle over 44.5 yards. Love that. Love that. I think this game goes over. I think this game I think this game in Kansas City between Miami and the Chiefs could go over. Again, everyone backing this under because it's cold, I think is a little outrageous. I think Mahomes is going to be able to work in the pocket, find some points. Like we just saw, he averages 36 points per game in the wild card in the divisional round. And I think on the flip side of the ball, the Dolphins are going to be able to move the football with the ground game. And I feel like Tyreek Hill might have himself a day because this Chiefs secondary has not been great. So with that being said, give me the Dolphins in Arrowhead, 0 degrees, cold, freezing, or snow. The Miami Dolphins today will be ready to go. Give me Miami plus 4.5. Give me the over 43.5 between Miami and Kansas City in the frozen tundra. Our anytime touchdown scores today. We're not going to take Travis Kelce, but he's going to score. You watch. Hopefully Tua can bring his A game today. We're not taking Travis Kelce, but I can see him scoring. I might sprinkle on him first touchdown. I don't know. We'll get into the first touchdown conversation when we do. 8 o'clock start Eastern, -5 degrees with 15-mile-an-hour winds currently. That's going to be unreal. Anytime touchdown score, let's keep it on the ground. It's -5 degrees. Give me Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdown today in Arrowhead. And on the other side of the ball, give me Raheem Mostert anytime touchdown for the Dolphins. Keep the ball on the ground. Everyone's going to be cold. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be ground and pound on the goal line in the red zone. So we're rolling with Stroud for glory, plus the 2.5. In a perfect world, the Browns win by 2. That would be the perfect world. Browns winning by 2. And then the Chiefs winning by a field goal. So everyone goes home happy. The Browns get to go to Baltimore for Flacco revenge against, or not even revenge, but for Flacco to play his former team in the Ravens. And on the flip side, we get Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. But the Dolphins cover and the Texans cover. And everyone goes home happy. And our anytime touchdown scorers are Nico Collins and Jerome Ford. And in Kansas City with Isaiah Pacheco and Raheem Mostert. Very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting day. I feel like these are two of the more tricky games. I feel better about rolling with the Dolphins plus 4.5 than I am with the Texans plus 4.5. But let's just see how it goes. We know all the narratives. We know what's been out there. We know the trends. We know the Dolphins can't play in the cold, and everyone's counting them out. We know Flacco is going for glory, and the whole world loves Flacco. It's a Flacco love story, and he has the chance to go to Baltimore, and he's 5-0 in the wild card round. We know all these things. But if the wild card round today was that easy, then tomorrow might be a disaster. But we're going to fade the public in both games. Please do not let the public win both games on a Saturday. Please, the Saturday that we go against the public, please do not let the public win both games and it be that easy. Please, football gods, do not let it be that easy. I can see Tyreek making big plays now. I can see Mostert going around to the left, walking into the pylon. I can see this stuff happening. Longest drought without a division title. So the Texans. Also, I'm pretty sure the Browns have never won, apparently, 12 games in a season. And I think that's in total, maybe. Or maybe that's regular season. They won 11 games so far this season. So technically today would be the 12th if the Browns win. Pretty interesting stuff there. We got to get into the first touchdown conversation. And let's not forget the splits for Stroud at home. He's been a much better quarterback all season at home. Gunslinger at home. Pretty sure they started out 5-0 at home. And the Browns' defense on the road has not been as great. We are now looking at game picks on NFL Countdown on ESPN. They're looking at the Dolphins and the Chiefs. It's really tough to see the Chiefs losing, but the plus 4.5, the Chiefs winning by less than 4, feels good. A teaser to get frisky, both dogs, taking the Texans plus 8 and taking the Dolphins plus 10.5 at even money. Both dogs, 6-point teaser. Today, wild card Saturday, the Texans plus 8 and the Chiefs plus 10.5. 6-point teaser, dogs. That feels good. We're also going to dabble into some teasers for tomorrow, too. Oh, my God. I got to take a picture of this. Tell me all of them. Tell me all of them are rolling with it. Rex, Chiefs. Randy, Chiefs. Alex, Chiefs. Teddy, Chiefs. Wow, she rolled with the Dolphins. Unreal. Some of this rip. That was unreal. Now Browns, Texans. Let's see what they do here. So everyone went Chiefs. But Sam went Dolphins. And now we start with Browns, Texans. Rex opens it up with the Browns. Let's see what Randy does. On ESPN. They're putting in the picks for today. Randy goes Texans. Alex goes Texans. All right, so it's split. Joe Flacco has thrown more interceptions in the past 5 games that he has started than CJ Stroud has all season. Let's see no mistakes. We can't have mistakes today. Don't get me wrong, though. If this game was in Cleveland, I don't give a fuck if the spread was Browns minus 6.5. We would be rolling Browns minus 6.5. But in Houston, under these circumstances, give us the 2.5. Hopefully the Browns win by 2. All right. All righty. It's 12 o'clock, noon on the East Coast, 9 o'clock here on the West Side. We have the Texans plus 2.5, the Dolphins plus 4.5. We're going to tease both dogs in a 6-point teaser. Texans plus 8.5. Texans plus 8.5. And the Dolphins plus 10.5. We're going to rock with 2 anytime touchdown scores on both sides of the football. Game 1, Nico Collins and Jerome Ford. Game 2, Raheem Mostert and Isaiah Pacheco. Those feel pretty good. I kind of like the friskiness of Dalton Schultz, though. I keep saying it. In Houston. And also, I could see Travis Kelce. Because the last year, I know he's gone, 6-7 weeks without a touchdown. Last season, he ended without scoring a touchdown the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. And then came into the playoffs and won and scored in every game. He scored in every game. So Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown, even though he's banned, also kind of smells good. Don't hate the parlay. I do not hate this parlay of a Dalton Schultz anytime touchdown and a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown. Also, back to Kansas City. Everyone loving that under because it's 0 degrees. It's not snowing or raining. It's cold. Give me the over 43.5. Put it in the pipe. Smoke it. We like Dalton Schultz over 40.5 receiving yards. I like Tyreek in that second game, too. Don't hate his receiving yards. Don't hate his receiving yards. Is that a little 2-leggy? Could we do a 4-leggy? Schultz. Raheem Mostert and Achane rushing props are out. 42.5 for Achane, 48.5 for Mostert. All right. That's pretty solid stuff there. We cannot have. If Tyreek Hill shows up and does cardio, I'm going to throw up. Travis Kelce, there is a feeling out there that he may score. All right. Let's see. Tyreek Hill and Dalton Schultz. Let's lock this in. Should we do a four touchdown anytime parlay? Yeah. All right. We got the community touchdown parlay. Wow, the Steelers and Bills just got postponed to Monday at 4:30. So now we have 2-2-2, but that also changes things for the over/under and the spread, I feel like. Because if it's not like down...
Was it weather?
It was because I think it was supposed to be snowing heavy, and there's also heavy snow already in the stadium. Apparently, they're giving volunteers $20 an hour if they just show up with a shovel, who are willing to come shovel out the stadium, probably the stands and stuff. Unreal. All right. Oh my gosh. Some Logic 11. Long shot play. Tyreek Hill, 3+ touchdowns, plus 8,500. Good God. From way downtown. Let's go Mostert, Pacheco, Ford. What if we did all running backs? Like Singletary, Ford, Mostert, Pacheco. There's also all quarterbacks where we go Mahomes and Stroud sneakily. There's also tight ends where we could go Kelce, Schultz. So that's the tight end lay, quarterback lay, RB lay. Wide receiver lay would be Collins, Hill. That feels pretty good. His rating with a party of 3. Oh, hell yeah. Aiden Coleman, shout out. Appreciate it. Aiden Coleman _ in the chat. Buzzing. So what do we do? Do we rock Singletary, Ford, Mostert, and Pacheco? Do we rock Kelce and Schultz? Do we rock Mahomes and Stroud? Do we rock Collins and Hill? Let's mix them up. I love Mostert. Could it be Mostert, Kelce, Collins? I need to stop with this Kelce shit, though. I need to stop with the Kelce shit. Kelsey's not in it. Kelsey's not in it, bro.
Is Taylor pulling up to the game?
Yeah, she is, but she's pulled up to multiple games, and he's still not scored. So, he can kick rocks. Zach Fralga, fuck Travis Kelce. I agree. Boys, what do we do? Drop into the chat. This is for you guys. $100, 100 bones. Is it Nico Collins, Jerome Ford, Mostert, and Pacheco? Do we sub out Collins and go Schultz? I love Mostert. Mostert's in. I don't like Kelsey anymore. So let's roll Pacheco. And is it Collins? Is it Singletary? What do we roll with? It's definitely Mostert. Definitely Mostert. I don't know if I want to go with Devin Singletary against that Browns front. If anything, we were just talking about how multiple guys scored. For an example, on the road in SoFi, indoor, Flacco, on the road, Cooper Kupp, Demarcus Robinson, and Puka Nacua all got in against the Browns. Amaman 1980 said Mostert, Collins, Pacheco, and Ford. I think that's it. I'm down to ride that. Because, like, we ride the hot hand with Collins. Mostert, they feed him so much at the goal line. I love Mostert. I love Pacheco, out of anyone on that Chiefs team. And Ford. Zach Fraga flies into the chat with Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Raheem Mostert, and Rashid Rice. Don't hate that. Aiden Coleman, how we doing? Don't hate that, Zach Fraga. That could be sharp action. Amari Cooper, Dalton Schultz, Raheem Mostert, Rashid Rice. Don't hate Rice. I don't hate Rice. Schultz. Like I said, Schultz is frisky. Schultz is frisky.
Schultz is plus 240. Amari's plus 145.
I think what we might lock in is Nico Collins, Jerome Ford, Raheem Mostert, and Isaiah Pacheco. They also just took off Raheem Mostert's anytime touchdown on underdog, so that's
Plus 110 on flip.
that's good.
Jerome Ford plus 145. Nico plus 160. Pacheco plus 135.
Collins, Ford, Mostert, Pacheco. Is that it, chat? Are we locking that in? Can we get some clarification? Can we get some clarification? We're getting a phone call from Santa Claus. Hello. Yo. Yeah, they are. Public is on Browns. I'm riding, everyone knows the narrative of Joey Flacco, possibly with the chances of going into Baltimore. Obviously, everyone knows the statistics that Joey Flacco is 5-0 against the spread and 5-0 straight up in the wild card round. Everyone knows this. The Browns' defensive splits, though, they're a different team on the road than when they're at home. They're down in Texans, in the Texans. And I don't know, dude, 83% of slips over with the BetMGM fellas on the spread are for the Browns. I think it's a great story for Flacco. I love Flacco, but I can't. I know. But it keeps fluctuating around too. It keeps going back from 2.5 to 2 to 1.5 to 2. It's like I don't know how it keeps dropping lower and lower with such heavy public. Obviously, sharp big money will come in on Texans and stuff like that and bring it back down. Dude, everyone and their mother, and like if the Browns end up pulling through, You know, it's just something. It's just something that you roll with. But you know, it's like the right side is the Texans, but it's tough. It's really tough. Love that. Let's go. I love that. Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. We got Nico Collins. Yeah, didn't get the opportunity to. All right. I needed 10-4, but we got Nico Collins, Jerome Ford. We got um and we're gonna roll with the Texans. Yes. we're public sometimes does win. The public sometimes does win. Yeah, but in a big spot like this on a Saturday afternoon, it's sometimes a tough spot for the public on a prime time. Stay hot. I will get back in touch with you boys. Texans it is. 10-4. 10-4. 10-4. All right, that was a call from Santa. A quick a quick convo, just genuine, shooting the shit. Felt the same. Wanted to put money down on the Browns. Want the Browns. Just feels a little too frisky. Feels very public. It's frisky. It's a coin flip. Like I said, it's my least confident game out of all 6 of the wild card round. We're gonna get to all the other games tomorrow. But in the meantime, let's lock in this community touchdown parlay with Nico Collins, Jerome Ford, Raheem Mostert, and Isaiah Pacheco. MM609 says Nico Collins, David Njoku, CeeDee Lamb, Kyron Williams. I love CeeDee Lamb. I love Kyron Williams. However, let's keep this parlay to today's games. Community touchdown parlay. What are we staring at on the fliff? How much? What were the odds on that, pup?
It was plus 1800.
All right. Let me just go through the odds here.
Did you already see that Steelers game was postponed?
To Monday, yeah. I feel like that affects like the total and the spread, no? Because like now people rolling with the under and rolling with the Steelers plus the points. It's not going to be snowing heavy like it was possibly going to be on Sunday. Why Mostert over Achane? Because McDaniel and the Dolphins just absolutely love giving to Mostert down on the goal line, anywhere within the 10. How many rushing touchdowns did he have this year?
He has 18.
17, 18 total?
No, he's 18 rushing
20,
and
21 total.
21 total?
18 rushing.
He's the red zone guy. I feel like Achane slowed down in the touchdown category. We rolled with him a couple weeks when he was hot, when he first started out. That first game obviously really jumped him off, and he kept scoring after that. But once he got injured and was bouncing back and forth in the lineup, got a little more shaky, a little more frisky for the young man. Jerome Ford, Pacheco. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown is probably mortal with now A.J. Brown out. It's like, not like A.J. Brown was scoring too much before, but my God. All right, let's lock that puppy in. Collins, Mostert, Pacheco. Dude, we got to bring one home, dude. We have to bring one home. On wild card weekend, we have to bring one home. Jerome Ford is scoring, if not once, twice. Nico Collins, we're riding the hot hand. Not too many other options, especially at home. We're going to ride Nico Collins. It's going to be tough for Singletary or for Dameon Pierce to try to shove one in. The secondary for the Browns hasn't been great on the road. Nico Collins, anytime touchdown. We get to the next game, 8 o'clock Eastern, -5 degrees. Feels like -30. Mostert on the ground after 2 weeks rest, being injured. Pacheco, the workhorse. You know he's going to be rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. 4 gentlemen. Anytime touchdown scores. And that puppy is powered by Fliff. Plus 1,800 on that. On another sports books, plus 2,100, whatever you're on. Come on. We need to bring one home. If you're here in the chat, the tweet's going out currently. Ford, Collins, Mostert, Pacheco. We got to get the good vibes. Nico Collins, Jerome Ford. Browns are going to get down in the red zone. They're going to be battling. It's going to be gritty. Wild card weekend. Give it to the man. There's a bunch of designed run plays down on the goal line. We saw some wildcat action in the past for Jerome Ford. Let's see him pound one in. Nico Collins. Let's ride the hot hand. A deep ball, a red zone look. He leads the team in red zone targets. Second is Dalton Schultz. Remember, like I said when we were talking about this game down in Houston, keep an eye out for Mr. Dalton Schultz. And then if we bring home those two, which we need to do, like I said, we could see some shouts of a Robert Woods or Dalton Schultz. We didn't want to necessarily ride Devin Singletary just due to the fact that that front four for the Browns sometimes is scary. On the other side of the ball, sure, we can roll with Njoku. We can roll with Kareem Hunt. But let's roll with Ford. We've seen Ford get a lot of the work. A lot of work down on the goal line and also be a possible option in the pass game alongside with Kareem Hunt. But if we can bring home Nico Collins, if we can bring home Jerome Ford, let's get to the game where it's -30 degrees with both running backs pounding the ball in. Raheem Mostert, Isaiah Pacheco, 4 gentlemen, community touchdown parlay. We put $100 on it and give it back to 3 people in the community if it comes home, when it comes home. And that puppy is powered by Fliff. Our game picks, the Dolphins plus 4.5, the Texans plus 2.5, a 6-point teaser of both dogs on this Saturday. Texans plus 8.5, Dolphins plus 10.5. Some props. We love Dalton Schultz over receiving yards. We can dabble into some Raheem Mostert rushing yards. Do we see a big homecoming from Tyreek Hill? All are in play. All are at the table. I don't mind the over. A lot of people counting on that under because it's cold. I don't mind the over between the Dolphins and the Chiefs. I think the Dolphins can really get the ground game going with Mostert and 8-Chan. I cannot wait for both games. So much anticipation. So much so many narratives, thoughts going into these games. On the road, at home, Chiefs, Dolphins. The Chiefs haven't looked great all year. The Dolphins just blew the AFC East. The Browns are led by Flacco. It's glory. It's veteran. He's been here before. CJ Stroud slinging the night away. He's the rookie. He's at home. Can he get the job done? Moving on to the next round. All I know is if the Texans win, I feel very confident about the Dolphins. But if the Browns win, you better watch out for the Chiefs. Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans, Browns, Bills gets moved to Monday. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. Let's talk first touchdown scores. First thoughts that come to my mind for first touchdown scores, since we were talking about Dalton Schultz, is Dalton Schultz. I need full breakdowns of the status of Noah Brown and Robert Woods. I kind of want to take a Texan because they come out clearly with electricity, firepower. We saw it last week in a playoff atmosphere on the road against the Colts. The Browns might ease into things, rely on that defense, slow down the game, pound the rock with Ford and Hunt. That's why I kind of want to take a shout. With a Dalton Schultz, a possible Robert Woods, which would be unreal. CJ Stroud first touchdown would be fucking electric. In the second game, I'm thinking Mahomes. I'm thinking Tyreek Hill, first game back, makes sense. I love that we have two games now. Really evens everything out. Let's look at these lines. So when we were discussing first touchdowns, let me drop into the Discord really quick. Tyreek Hill's plus 1,000. Don't hate that revenge story. Travis Kelce's plus 650. Like we said, Kelce scored every game in the Super Bowl run last season, and he ended last season a little slow. Not as slow as this year, but still slow. Patrick Mahomes plus 1,800. Now let's get the status for game number 1 with Robert Woods and Noah Brown to check in. I know they're playing. However, are they 100%? Because these are the randos. Also, don't forget about John Mechie. Would love to see John Mechie get involved today. When Stroud slung that deep shot in Indianapolis, I at first, when it was in the air, thought it was going to John Mechie. So both are playing. Noah Brown's such a bucket. Noah Brown is such a bucket. It's a big college basketball day today, too. Tennessee up 11. Up 9, excuse me. UNC up 15. Wisconsin, Northwestern. What are some of the games later on today? Quick pause. A&M. A&M's minus 3.5 at home against Kentucky. That is wild. That's the... Let's get some CBB plays. Let's get some CBB plays out there real quick. But first, before we dive into CBB, let's figure out our first touchdown scores. In the chat on the cord, Pacheco and Ford, Jerome Ford, Nico Collins, Cooper, Njoku, Collins, Travis Kelce, Justin Watson, Schultz and Tyreek, Ford. A lot of Ford shouts. All right, so for the second game, we were thinking Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, or Travis Kelce. For the first game, let's look at these odds for first touchdown. Spread is sitting at 2.5. It's Noah Brown first touchdown. Amaj 1221. I have the script. I don't hate that. I do not hate that. Noah Brown plus 2,400. Welcome to the show. Plus 2,400. Dalton Schultz plus 1,600. Welcome to the show. Robert Woods. Holy shit, he's plus 3,200. I don't know if we're going to go Woods today. We might get lost in the woods. CJ Stroud is plus 2,600. Okay. I like Tyreek in the homecoming. A lot of people sleeping on him, and a lot of people don't think that the Dolphins are going to score first. I like the Dolphins to score first, going against the odds, and I like it to be a Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown. How fitting would that be to be the first touchdown? And now remember, in Houston, we have Nico Collins anytime touchdown and Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. So we don't mind if those gentlemen get in the end zone first. However, let's go off the path. We know the Browns like to allow touchdowns to wide receiver 2s, wide receiver 3s, some slot gentlemen. A lot of eyes are on Nico Collins. Let me double check the red zone targets again. I know I said earlier red zone targets, number 1 is Nico Collins, and number 2 on the Texans is Dalton Schultz. Let's just run this back real quick. Let's dive into Houston. Amon 1980 says Stroud first. Dude, I love that too. I love Noah Brown. I love Stroud. Robert Woods. Wow. Robert Woods is third on the team with 9 red zone targets, but only 1 touchdown this year. Noah Brown doesn't have any touchdowns in the red zone. Sad. But on the year, he's bounced back and forth, though, in the lineup. On the year, how many does he have? 3? 4? Lower? He has 2. Week 15 on the road against the Titans, and week 9. He did not score in that game in Cincinnati. He had 172 receiving yards, however. Very interesting. Robert Woods. Wow, this is even a breakdown. In Cincinnati was the last time Robert Woods got red zone targets. He had 2 of them. We're really diving deep here. Holy shit. Deep in the lab here. So he has 1 touchdown on the year. After not playing in Indianapolis, he had 4 targets in Tennessee, 6 targets in Cleveland, back in Tennessee, week 15. Week 17 was at home against the Titans. In Tennessee, 5 targets. But the last time he got red zone targets was back on November 12th. Let's see Schultz. Last time he got red zone targets was November 19th. This is tough. Let's see Noah Brown, dude. So red zone target on December 10th was on the 8-yard line. CJ Stroud pass incomplete short left to Noah Brown. And there was actually a defensive pass interference. And then also Robert Woods, on the other hand, on November 12th, had on the 3-yard line pass incomplete short Robert Woods penalty, illegal touch pass. And on the 18-yard line, CJ Stroud pass incomplete short middle to Robert Woods. How many times has Stroud ran in the red zone? Four rushes so far this year for CJ Stroud in the red zone. I like second game locking in Tyreek Hill. But for game number 1, it's tough. I want to ride a Texan. CJ Stroud has 3 rushing touchdowns, however, on the year. But that was saying that. So were those touchdowns, I guess, longer than 20 yards? Because this says he only has 1 rushing touchdown that was in the red zone. Pocket collapses. CJ Stroud steps out. A lot of guys downfield covering Woods, Brown, Schultz, Collins. Does Stroud break one? Could Stroud break one for glory? I don't hate it. We're going to leave it continued up for debate. I'm locking in Tyreek Hill first touchdown for the second game, but CJ Stroud plus 2,600. It's either him or like Noah Brown, Woods, Schultz, one of those 3 guys. Don't hate it. All right, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we're going to come back, talk a little college basketball. We'll review over the plays. We are going to be back here tomorrow morning, same time, 11:05 Eastern time, for the Sunday games, which is now only 2 because the Bills postponed. But we're going to come back, talk some college ball, and recap the plays. All right, some college basketball action. Some college basketball action. Some CBB. First and foremost, I'm going to jump out ahead and say Texas A&M -3. Kansas -7.5. New Mexico State -3.5. Another shout. Those boys are buzzing. Let's keep rolling, keep looking. We got Purdue, we got Clemson, we got Utah State. Is Utah State coming off a loss? Utah State's hot. College ball talk. FSU Notre Dame spread sketchy. UNLV could be a frisky play going against Utah State +2.5. Just a quick side combo looking over some college ball action. TCU versus Houston. Houston's coming off a loss. I kind of like TCU. Arizona, Washington State, Auburn, LSU. Auburn's -14.5. My goodness. All right, we'll get back to the college ball. But the plays for 2 wild card games today, as we've gone over. We have a Nico Collins anytime touchdown, a Jerome Ford anytime touchdown, an Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdown, and a Raheem Mostert anytime touchdown. Mostert. Dolphins +4.5. The Texans +2.5. Tua Tagovailoa's coldest starts in NFL or college. December 17th, 2022 at Buffalo was 29 degrees was the coldest start. They lost that game 32-29. Remember, this is tough because this is in division in Buffalo, which is brutal to begin with. 36 degrees, January 3rd, 2021. So now we rewind 3 years, 56-26 loss. And then January 2nd, 2022 in Tennessee, Mike Vrabel land, they lost 34-3. So, I mean, we're looking at a small sample size of 2 games in Buffalo, which is in division, which is hard to begin with, going against the Bills. This is also an era where they had no Tyreek Hill. This will be Tua's 11th night start. How about that? 3-4 against the spread on the road at nights. Yeah, like we said, we're going against the narratives. We're fading the narratives. We're going against the tide upstream with the Texans and the Dolphins, plus the points. It's not the spreads that you want to hear. Obviously, we're going against the public. We're taking that teaser, the 6-point teaser, with the Dolphins plus the 6. Dolphins plus 10.5. It's a 6-point teaser. Dolphins plus 10.5. The Texans plus 8.5. Some of the anytime touchdown scores, to get fun with, get frisky with RBs. Jerome Ford, Raheem Mostert, Pacheco, Singletary, quarterbacks. Parlaying Mahomes and Stroud, anytime touchdowns, Mahomes and Stroud. A little parlay of tight ends for an anytime touchdown, Travis Kelce and Dalton Schultz. And then wide receivers, a wide receiver anytime touchdown parlay of Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, and Rashee Rice. Watch the Tua rushing live bet. 3 games this season on FanDuel. It's been bugged. And it'll be over under 7.5 when he has 8. Look at the sharp action by Gutter Shark. Watch the Tua rushing live bet. 3 games this season on FanDuel. It's been bugged. And it'll have it at over under 7.5 when he already has 8. Well, did you ever think that he could lose a yard? It's not really bugged. That's not frankly bugged. What if he kneels at the end of the game? He goes under. If he kneels at the end of the game, he'll then go under. So it's not out of play. I know it's not like college where a sack you lose rushing yards as a quarterback, but that's something to get frisky with for sure. Live betting Tua rushing yards. Gritty. That's great. It doesn't drop. Xander Kincaid, how we doing, brother? We are looking at the Nico Collins, the Jerome Ford, the Isaiah Pacheco, and the Raheem Mostert anytime touchdowns. First touchdown in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill, the homecoming. That would be fitting. The first touchdown in Houston. We're trying to decide between C.J. Stroud at plus 2,600, Noah Brown at plus 2,400, maybe a little Schultz or Robert Woods. We're trying to figure that out. Gutter Shark, appreciate the love, brother. So running back, quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers that we love to possibly sprinkle on for anytime touchdown scores today. Mahomes and Stroud, Kelce and Schultz, Collins, Hill, and Rice, Singletary, Ford, Mostert, Pacheco, all to keep an eye on. We like the over in Arrowhead, over 43.5, going against the narrative of everyone taking that under because it's cold outside. Ooh. We still have some time until kickoff, that is for sure. We're not going till kickoff. Yeah, that's basically, we ran through everything. We have the teaser. We have the game picks. We have the first touchdowns reviewed. We have the anytime touchdowns. We have the props of that. We like Dalton Schultz over 40.5 receiving yards. Tyreek Hill, definitely look out for some explosive plays for his receiving yards. Don't hate Mostert's rushing yards either. It's set at 48.5. Really have a good feeling about these Miami running backs today, getting in the end zone, making some plays, getting the ball up and down the field, consuming some clock. Like I said, we will be back here tomorrow at 11:05 to review the Sunday games. We're looking at A&M -3, New Mexico -3, Notre Dame ML, which is so incredibly frisky. We're looking at college basketball currently.
Xander Kincaid with the gifted 7.
Gutter Shark, Xander Kincaid. Xander Kincaid, shout out Xander Kincaid, dude. Go to the chat. Goats of the chat. On this Saturday afternoon, we're reviewing over some wild card action. Flacco with the possibilities of going back to Baltimore. 5-0 against the spread, 5-0 straight up in the wild card round, going against a rookie quarterback, a first-year head coach. The task is tall. If this game was in Cleveland, we'd be all over the Browns, but we're going against the Tide. We're going against the public. We're rolling with the home dog. Just let the home dog bark today. For fuck's sake, let the home dog bark today. Let C.J. Stroud sling the night away. Let's see Joey Flacco throw some interceptions. More interceptions thrown in the past 5 starts for Joe Flacco than C.J. Stroud on the season. That's something that you love to hear. Hopefully the Texans can win the turnover battle. Hopefully they can pound the rock a little bit, get some sort of run game going. Huge to have 2 weapons back in the offense with Noah Brown and Robert Woods. Keep an eye, like I said, keep an eye out for Dalton Schultz. Nico Collins continuing to ride the hot hand. These college basketball plays are frisky. I'm looking at UNLV, Notre Dame, TCU, New Mexico State, Texas A&M, and then the wagon, of course, Auburn. Can they cover a 14.5-point spread today at home? It's the spreads that you always think they're not going to cover is the ones that they do. I know Notre Dame's trash, but... Oh, sure, yeah, that'll be great. Texas will probably smoke West Virginia in Morgantown.
2+ TD scores.
Oh, yeah. Earlier in the chat, we had a little 3+ touchdowns for Tyreek Hill in a homecoming plus 8,500. But earlier, I heard a little whisper of 2+ touchdowns for Jerome Ford, CeeDee Lamb,
Hurts.
and Jalen Hurts plus 20,000.
Yeah.
That's pretty frisky. 2+ touchdowns for Jerome Ford, CeeDee Lamb, and Jalen Hurts plus 20,000. Put it in the pipe and smoke it. That would be something. 2+ touchdowns are always frisky. Nico Collins 2+. Imagine. With Tyreek Hill 2+. That would be something. I like Mostert 2+. Oh yeah. Solana Steve in the chat. 2+ touchdown parlay. Hurts CD Ford plus 20,000. Smachi 99. David Njoku with the anytime touchdown. Njoku shouts into the chat. Seeing if I missed anything on this college basketball slate. Doesn't seem like it. Let's see this. Let's see what we can get buzzing on. College basketball. As we come towards an end of a Saturday wild card stream, talking a little college hoops after going through the plays for the 2 games today in Arrowhead and in Houston. Texas A&M minus the 3, New Mexico State minus the 3, TCU plus 4.5, Notre Dame money line, UNLV plus 2.5, and Auburn minus 14.5. What is what the Auburn spread is on FanDuel? Let's double check real quick. Also, I'd like to announce before the playoffs start, obviously, we pull for Philadelphia. We're usually not, try to be not as biased. Very tough spot, very tough situation now with no A.J. Brown, so on and so forth. I placed a future for a Super Bowl winner, and I placed it on the Buffalo Bills. So let it be known, sitting here at 9:57 on Saturday morning, January 13th, that I've placed a future bet on a Bills, I was about to say money line, on a Bills Super Bowl future. On a Bills Super Bowl future. As I double check the Auburn spread on the book. Let me dabble into this. Like we were talking about earlier, Jalen Hurts, just to talk a little bit about that Monday game since it's not on tomorrow, and we're going to go over the games tomorrow at 11:05 Eastern. Jalen Hurts, anytime touchdown, has to be mortal. Obviously, there's the hopes and the chances of a tush push down at the 1 yard line, but with also no A.J. Brown to be a target, there's going to be they're calling for downpour rain. Do we like Texas A&M minus the 3? Yeah. I'm about to tweet out the college basketball plays. We had a nice little 4-2 night the other night. Hopefully we can stay hot. I'm double checking the Auburn spread. That's why I did. They are minus 13.5. Lock that in. All right, it's a frisky one. A&M minus 3, New Mexico State minus 3. We're rolling with TCU plus 4.5. A lot of people are going to be on the Cougs in that bounce back spot, but they stay on the road. We faded the Cougs, and now we're going to fade the Cougs again. Notre Dame money line at home. A lot of people riding FSU after their win against Wake Forest. It's a good down spot for them. And now UNLV going against a Utah State team at home who has been buzzing. But it's a close, sketchy spread, liking UNLV there at home to disrupt some things for the newly ranked Utah State. How you like them apps? Smalty99 says Mike Evans anytime touchdown. Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. But if I were to pick one anytime touchdown scorer in that game, it's Jalen Hurts. Just due to the fact that it's going to be raining heavy. Mike Evans is a good shout against that weak secondary against the Eagles. Hopefully the rain isn't as bad as what they're calling for, or else Mike Evans is free. Darius Slay is back, however, for the Eagles, who has been missing with that knee injury for the last 3-4 weeks. So it's a big back for the Eagles secondary, getting Slay back in there. Wisconsin -7.5 versus Northwestern. That game's live in halftime. So Smalty99 also said UNC is a wagon. Montgomery 2+. Dude, that's actually the ultimate 2+. Everyone's going to be riding Gibbs heavy. We know that. But Monty 2+. Hurts 2+. CD 2+. Who else would be like just the biggest bucket to have? Hurts 2+, CD 2+, Monty 2+ is something frisky. Something frisky to get down and frisky with. That's for sure. Coming on to the Bills, that game's going to be still a little frisky to take a 2-touchdown score. I don't know how many points are going to be put on the board there. But I do love CD going against that weak Packers secondary. Also love sometimes doing the alternate overs. Like, could we see another Nico Collins 100+ game today? Could we see a Tyreek Hill probably getting major value due to the circumstances of the game? Possibly 100+ receiving yard day. Could we see Raheem Mostert 2+ touchdowns? Really saying that guy's name today. Raheem Mostert. Mustard. 2+ for Mostert is definitely in the cards. Could definitely be in the cards. I wonder what Mostert 2+, Monty 2+, CD 2+, Hurts 2+ all in a parlay will be. That would be unreal. I actually might lock that in after. So the tweet just went up for the college plays. Pretty sure the guy on the TV was just saying something about Mostert and said his name twice too. Ford, Collins, Pacheco, Mostert. Come on. We needed to come home, baby. Come on. We needed to come home for the community touchdown parlay. And let's wrap things up with some good vibes. We're going to be back here tomorrow at 11:05 Eastern Time. But in honor of the homecoming for Tyreek Hill, back into Arrowhead, for the young man to have himself a day. From house being on fire to touchdown scored in Arrowhead in negative 30-degree weather, Tyreek Hill leading the Dolphins. But first, to game one, as we said, we ran through the narratives. We ran through the game scripts. We ran through the analytics and the trends. We're rolling with the Texans +2.5. The Browns receiving 78%. I've seen as high as 83% of the bets for the spread. The Flacco love story. It's Flacco February Super Bowl. I can't sit here and back with everyone else. I gotta do it. Give me the home dog. Hopefully it barks loud. We have Jerome Ford anytime touchdown. We have a Nico Collins anytime touchdown. We have the teaser +8.5 for the Texans. +10.5 for the Dolphins. Game number 2. We know Mahomes and wild card in the divisional. We've seen Mahomes a lot of hiccups this year. It feels a little different. We know the Dolphins just blew the AFC East. We know the Dolphins supposedly can't play in cold weather. We know Tua's never played in cold weather, supposedly, or can't win in cold weather. Everyone's counting out the Dolphins. Give us the Dolphins plus 4.5. Give us a Raheem Mostert anytime touchdown. And give us the Pacheco anytime touchdown, because it's the only man on Kansas City at this point who we could really trust outside of Rice. Cannot trust Travis Kelce, but he'll probably score today. Dalton Schultz and Travis Kelce will probably both score today. It's whatever. Tyreek Hill first touchdown in Arrowhead. We're going to lock in before the game who we're rolling with in the first game. We're going to either roll with CJ Stroud first touchdown at plus 2,600 or Noah Brown, Dalton Schultz. We'll figure it out. But with that being said, that's all the picks for Wild Card Saturday. We'll be here tomorrow at 11:05 for the games. The Bills game gets postponed. We're going to be talking Cowboys, Packers. We're going to be talking the first playoff game in 30 years in Detroit between the Rams and the Lions. We will see you all then at 11:05 Eastern Time. Good luck to everyone today in all their bets. If you're on the Texans, on the Browns, if you're on the if you're on the Chiefs, if you're on the Chiefs or the Dolphins, best of luck. Have yourself a Saturday.